Hey guys, it's Dale here for DG Tech and Hardware, and I have here the new ASRockX99E-ITX/AC Mini-ITX X99 motherboard, and I thought it's probably worth talking about, so let's talk about it. Alright guys, so I got this motherboard the other week. This is going in my N-Case M1 build, Project Mini Validus. I just thought we'd have a quick talk about it. Now, this is not going to be a review by any means. I just know it's a very controversial board, so I thought I might share my opinion on a few things regarding this motherboard, because it obviously has some really strong shortcomings, which I'll mention. You know, I don't think this board is perfect, and I understand why some people don't like it, but I just thought I would share my opinion and why I decided to go this way instead of sticking with the Z97 platform. So I guess the biggest thing around this is that it only has 2 DIMM slots. So the big thing with X99 is quad channel, and you've only got 2 DIMM slots. If you check out some of Linus's videos, you'll notice that he did some testing of quad channel versus dual channel and noticed that there wasn't really much of a performance difference there, unless you're sort of talking about really serious workstation rigs that are using applications or in situations that strictly have that requirement. So even as probably a semi-professional or even quite professional content creator or anything like that, I don't think you'd see much difference. This is just my opinion. But I can understand why people would like to see, you know, but I guess on the other side of that is there's that Gigabyte, I'm pretty sure it's Gigabyte SoC, the Super Overclock Champion motherboard, and that's only got 4 DIMMs, but that doesn't seem to get any flack, and I thought, well, that's sort of got less of a purpose than this motherboard. It's essentially a full ATX board that's just built for overclocking. So it has a minimum amount of slots. So I thought that was interesting, that it's sort of got 4 instead of 8, and that's accepted because it's built for overclocking, where this has got 2, which is less, but obviously it's fit for purpose for very small applications. So I thought that was a reasonable sacrifice to make, especially with 16 gigabyte DIMMs coming out. You know, you can have 32 gig RAM in this thing, and that's more than enough, even as a portable content creator, render rig, or whatever you wanted. The second bit of controversy is around the slot. So it's 75 by 100 instead of 90 by 90. So a lot of coolers don't fit, but it's turning out that a lot of coolers do fit. So it is an issue, but it's not as big an issue as it may have first been seen. So Noctua offer a lot of slim ILM mounts for their coolers, so you could pretty much run a very wide selection of their coolers on this motherboard without problems if the stock air cooler was no good for you. They do include a water cooling bracket, which they say fits the Cooler Master side-in models. So that's great if you want to go for one of their all-in-ones. I already had the H100, and very quickly I figured out that it would fit almost no problems. The only thing I had to do is where the bracket wraps over the H100 block. The H100 block must be a bit shorter than the Cooler Master ones, so when you screwed it all the way down, you could actually lift the block slightly. There's probably 1.5 mil in there. It wasn't clamping down tightly enough over the block. The way I fixed that was I just put some rubber in between the block and the clamp, so when I screwed it down, it would screw down onto the rubber locks and pull them into the CPU or into the mounts, and that was all tight. And the rubber was good sort of to balance out any pressure indifference or anything like that, but that worked well. That's how I'm running it now, and I'm essentially running this at 4.4 gigahertz with no cooling problems at all, just on the H100. They're the main things that I sort of wanted to cover off. There are some really bad design elements. Behind the PCIe slot is one of the 3 fan headers, which is really bad placement. When I was building this, I was testing the card, and it was so hard to get in. Once I slotted it in, I thought, this thing's never coming out. and then I realized that I had to get in there to plug in one of the fans for the H100. So that was really disappointing. Obviously it's going to come in and out a bit during the build, but that's just really bad placement. The 24 pin is up on top rather than along the side, probably just due to spatial issues. That's just a little bit different around cable routing and stuff like that, but because I'm getting custom cables made up, I don't see that as an issue. Everything else is pretty much standard. Dual gigabit LAN's awesome for an ITX board. There's currently no other ITX board either that has M.2 and dual gigabit LAN that I'm aware of. So that's something to consider as well. This has the Ultra M.2, which probably doesn't, which is an ASRock thing, which probably doesn't matter too much, but if you've got a high-speed drive in there, and I've got a Samsung SM951, that thing is ridiculously fast. Like, the read speed on that I just tested before is 2600 megasecond, like 2.6 gigasecond. It's a read speed off that drive on that site. That's just amazing. So I just thought that was my sort of opinion, that was my reasoning behind this. It does have some shortcomings. No, you can't stack it full of RAM and all that kind of stuff, but hey, you can take a photo with 2 RAM sticks and say, hey, I've populated all my slots on my DDR4 or X99 rig, but you only got 2. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. That's just my quick opinion on why I went to this board, and maybe some things to consider. Yes, it does have some shortcomings, but considering the form factor, I think they've done a really good job. So well done to ASRock, and I look forward to any further things coming from them. But thanks for tuning in, guys. And this is Dale from DG Tech and Hardware. Cheers.